ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुक्तापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदां सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्ते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुति देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome to Corporate Gita reading sessions every Friday 1 to 2 p.m. We are in the ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and we had uh, completed till the verse 7. So we'll continue with the verse 8. Okay. So this particular chapter is the most confidential knowledge. Just like in a jewelry box, the jewel is the most important thing, right? The box is important, but inside the box there is a jewel, and that is most important. So similarly, this ninth chapter is the middle of the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So it's the it is most important. It's the jewel of Bhagavad Gita, and this is open secret. It is secret, but it is open secret. Anybody can access it, but only few can understand it and accept it and absorb it. And what qualities required to absorb it? One should not be envious of Krishna. So Krishna gave this knowledge to Arjuna. Why? My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me. That envy was not there in Krishna and Arjuna for Krishna. Envy means why he's so rich, or why he's so strong, or why he's so beautiful and I am not. He should not be that much. So that enviousness thought is not there in true friendship. That's why Krishna chose to give this open secret to Arjuna. And this is the king of all knowledge. Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam. Most secret of the secrets. It is purest. Pavitram ida uttamam. Pratyakshavagamavam. Direct perception. This is not theoretical. Direct perception. One can practically realize. It is dharmam, perfection of knowledge. Religion. Religion is an English word. Dharma doesn't exactly translate to religion, but it is the that English is not that vast. It's not so, dharma is roughly translated as religion, but actually dharma means the essence of everything. So this knowledge is the essence of everything. It's everlasting. It's everlasting. It's never going to end, and it is joyfully performed. Joy means happily performed. Recently, students gave this NEET exam, and then it turned out to be there was some scam. Some students got the paper before the exam, right? So that kind of knowledge that they were preparing for ended up in misery. They are protesting. There'll be re-NEET exam and all that. But this knowledge that we are talking about, Bhagavad Gita, is joyfully performed. It will be happily performed. You see? Okay. Then Krishna talks about Aishwarya Gyan. Aishwarya means his opulences. So we discuss one word which is very prominent in Bhagavad Gita. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. This particular word is used for whenever Krishna speaks. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. And when Arjuna speaks, it is Shri Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna Vacha. When Dhritarashtra speaks, it is Dhritarashtra Vacha. When Sanjaya speaks, it is Sanjaya Vacha. But when Krishna speaks, it is Shri Bhagavan Vacha. It is not Shri Krishna Vacha. It is Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Why? This Bhagavad Gita is a part of. Do you know where does Bhagavad Gita lie? In which scripture does it come from?
Mahabharata.
Mahabharata.
Yeah. Mahabharata is 100,000 verses. And Bhagavad Gita is 700 verses. You will be interesting to know that when Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita, that time it is never said Krishna Vacha. It is said Shri Bhagavan Vacha. And we discuss this Bhagwan. What is the meaning of Bhagwan? So Parashara Muni, the father of Vyasadeva, he defined what is Bhagwan. Bhagwan is one who has these following six opulences in full, unlimited quantity. What is that? Beauty, wealth, strength, knowledge, renunciation, fame. So Krishna has all of it in unlimited quantity. Therefore, he is Bhagavana. Now, in this world, people may have small things about few things, Small, they are beautiful, but they may not be wealthy. Or they are beautiful and wealthy, but they are not strong. Their knowledge is not that great. They are not that famous, right? So, in this world, when anyone has a little bit of anything of one of the six, he becomes very famous. He's very well respected and all that. But he's never called Bhagavan. Why? Because that needs to be unlimited quantity. And Krishna satisfies that call, this definition. So therefore it is called Sri Bhagavan Vacha. And we went into much more discussion. The English translation of Bhagavan is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Godhead. What does Godhead means? So there is God, we know. God is like Ishvara, controller. There are many controllers. Shiva is also a controller. Brahma is also a controller. Is Krishna one of them? No. He's Parama Ishvara Krishna. He's supreme controller. And he's a person. He's not energy or sky or sun or light. He is the source of everything. He's a person. And he's supreme. Like that. So this is what it means, this Bhagavan Vacha. Okay, so in Bhagavad Gita, wherever Krishna speaks, it is Bhagavan Vacha. Okay. So Krishna talks about his Aishwarya Gyan. What he says, my very self is the source of creation. So the creation has come from whom? Krishna. I am maintainer of living entities, although I am everywhere. Krishna maintains everyone. I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. I am inside it. I am still outside it. Understanding that the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. This was the last time what we read. O son of Kunti, at the end of millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and in the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. Okay, we'll spend a little bit time here. So, if you see this picture, we'll look at this verse. At the end of millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, my potency, I create them again. So this has two meanings. Where it's, yeah. One meaning is for a day of Brahma. Okay. Yeah, this is the day of Brahma. The third line, or actually the fourth line is the day of Brahma. The 12 hours of the day, and then there is 12 hours. In this, we get 14 manus, one manvantara. It has 71 Divya Yugas. Each Divya Yuga is cycle of 4. So like this, 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas happen in the day of Brahma. And then there are partial devastation. And at the end there is, sorry, this is partial devastation. Partial of the partial also happens. And at the end there is full devastation. So many times the earth is created, destroyed, created, destroyed, created, destroyed. Then what happens to living entities? Hmm? So Krishna is saying the living entities enter into me when I destroy them. And then at the beginning of another millennium, I create them. Okay, and then when everything, Brahma lives for how many years? 311 trillion years. Hmm? When everything is done, then it goes back into Mahavishnu, who is in the causal ocean, Viraja. And from his pores, each and every universe is come. Many, many universes come. Many means unlimited actually. So from each of his pores, so many Brahmandas are coming. And we are in one of the Brahmanda. This is one Brahmanda. Inside there is another Vishnu which is called as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. From his navel comes Brahma. And another Vishnu, as Shirodakshaya Vishnu, is sitting in is in this universe, which expands into every atom. So my point to mention is there are many devastations happening and creations happening. And Krishna is talking about that and he's saying, I do it all, everything. And everything comes in my nature and then I only create them. Okay. So we'll move with today's verse. If there are any questions, any comments, you can stop me. You can interrupt me and speak out. Okay. Prakritim swam avastabhya visijami puna puna bhutogramam imam Krishna avasham prakritet vaset. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. Under my will, it is annihilated at the end. So Krishna is the one who is doing this annihilation, creation, everything is happening. Hmm? I talked about this. Interestingly, all this. Okay, We'll go through the purport. The material world is the man. Any question at this point? Anyone has any question before we go further? Yes, any question or comment? Okay. This material world is the manifestation of the interior energy, inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has already been explained several times, and the creation, the material energy is let loose as Mahat Tattva, into which the Lord has first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu. So I was talking about Mahavishnu, that is here. Okay, in the whole picture, it is like this. And Mahavishnu is in the Karana ocean, Viraja river. So, creation, Krishna expands into Mahavishnu avatar. Mahavishnu, through his inhaling, exhaling, he sends out so many universes. Inside there is another Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, like that, and Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So, same thing Prabhupada also explaining here. into which the Lord has first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu. He lies within the causal ocean and breathes out innumerable universes, and into each universe the Lord again enters as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Each universe is in that way is created. He still further manifests himself as Shirodakshai Vishnu, and that Vishnu enters into everything, even into minute atom. So it is a Paramatma. And the fact is explained here, he enters into everything. Okay. Now, as far as the living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into the material nature, and as a result of their past deeds, they take different positions. So, living entities are spiritual in nature, and when they are sent into the material nature, different bodies grow around them. Okay, how that they grow? Because of the past deeds. Past karma gives us present body. Thus, the activities of the material world begin. The activities of different species of living entities, living beings, are begin from the very moment of creation. It is not that all is evolved. The different species of life are created immediately along the universe. Men, animal, beasts, birds, everything is simultaneously created, because whatever desires the living entity had at the last annihilation is again manifested. It is clearly indicated here by the word avasham that the living entity has nothing to do with this process. The state of being in their past life, in the past creation, is simply manifested again, and all this is done simply by his will. Krishna simply wills and it happens. This is inconceivable potency of the Supreme Lord. Achintya, that's the word in Sanskrit, achintya. Inconceivable. Inconceivable means we cannot really understand this whole thing, or we cannot really fathom. Uh, just like, there may be a fish in an aquarium. Hmm? This fish may think this is such a big place. Can this fish understand what is the ocean? If someone comes and tries to explain it, what is the ocean? It is not possible for this. One may say it is 10 times the aquarium. Is it really 10 times the aquarium? The ocean? No. One may use the word 1,000 times. No, it is not even 1,000 times. It is million times, trillion times. Such a big ocean is there, right? Similarly, it's inconceivable to understand how this whole thing is working. Hmm? And after creating different species of life, he has no connection with them. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclination of various living entities, and so that the Lord does not become involved with it. So creation is taking place according to the previous desires of the living entity, and Krishna is saying, okay, this person wanted to become this in previous life. Here he has these many pious credits, so he can become. The Lord is acting very impartial, neutral, no connection. Just like a judge may give a statement, to the criminal, but actually it is without any connection. It is like, okay, I looked at the case neutrally, and I think this is the criminal, and you need to go to prison for 2 years, 3 years, whatever. But the judge has not given the statement out of his own will, meaning out of his own desire. I think you should go 5 years. Why 2 years? Not like that. According to the rules, according to that, and very impartial way. So similarly, the Paramatma also does that same thing. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclination of various living entities, and so the Lord does not become involved with it. So this material world is for the living entity, and he keeps desiring. I want to become this, I want to become that. The Lord says, okay, fine, have those kinds of bodies. Any question?
Prabhuji, the Lord's manifestation of the three forms, this a little, can you just repeat that part from Mahavishnu to Chirodak, Sai Vishnu?
Yeah, there is even a bigger tree diagram, but we will discuss only a shorter tree diagram today. So first is Krishna, right? He expands into Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu gives out innumerable Brahmanda. Okay? In one such Brahmanda, in every Brahmanda, there is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. See, sometimes in South India temples we see, there is a Vishnu who is lying on the Anand Shesh and through his navel comes out Brahma. They are talking about this Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Okay?
Okay, okay,
Ah.
okay.
And then this Garbhodaksha Vishnu expands into Shirodaksha Vishnu. Who goes into each and every atom. Basically, he is Paramatma. Paramatma in our heart. Like that. So, this is how it is. There is another tree diagram before this. Okay. That sometimes we will discuss.
Okay, okay.
Hmm. Like, recently in Pune, they found Vishnu uh, Vishnu Murti in Pune, found in excavation. I had seen that picture. This one, Buldhana. I think Buldhana. Let me check. Buldhana. Very nice picture. Yeah. See, this was excavated recently. So if you look at this, this is Mahavishnu, Sheshashai. Through his navel comes Brahma. All the demigods are there and like that. This is Lakshmi.
That is probably like Garbhodak Sai Vishnu.
This is Garbhodaksha Vishnu.
Garbhodak Vishnu, okay.
Okay, but sometimes the mantras and all that are set to talking to Mahavishnu. So the
Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu is this. So
Hmm.
what is the difference between Mahavishnu and Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Shirodaksha Vishnu? Is there any difference? Actually, there is
I
no
think.
difference.
Mhm.
There is no difference. This is office number 1, this is office number 2, this is office number 3.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Hmm? There is a difference between Vishnu, Narayan and Krishna. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji, can you elaborate that also?
Krishna is like at home and Vishnu is in office. So there is a difference between us also, right? The way we are at home versus we are in office. In the office, we'll be very formal, but at home we'll be in lungi or half pant, right or wrong?
Hmm. Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So there is a difference of mood also. Okay. Actually, there is no difference, but there is a difference of mood, and there is a difference of openness. In home, we are very open. Yes. But we
Yes.
can't, we are not that open at in the office. So in Vrindavan pastime, Krishna is very, very, open, very sweet. But in Narayan pastime, Vishnu pastime, he's not like that. Getting? So that is another tree diagram that we need to show here, but I have not shown.
So probably
Um,
Vishnu and Narayan, they are like the same
yeah,
name,
yeah,
synonym,
Vishnu Narayan is same.
same name. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, let's see. Baldev, Nityasiddha. Okay, 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 okay. 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 The tree diagram is not here. Hmm. But anyway, I just gave a glimpse.
Yeah.
Hmm? Okay. Okay. We'll move to the next verse.
Okay.
नत्समा नत्समाम तानि कर्माणि निबनन्ति धनंजय उदासीनवदसीनाम असक्तम तेषु कर्मसु. Oh Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. See, this work of creation and all that, na, it doesn't bind with Krishna. If we create anything, then we are bound by that result, right? Like we may create some programming algorithm code or something. Then, if there is a bug in it, we are to be blamed, right? If the algorithm is great, it goes for patent, then we are to be blamed for it, right? Now Krishna does all this work of annihilation and creation and all that, but nothing gets applied to him. He is ever detached from this as though seated neutral. Just like a judge is neutral, he has nothing to do with the criminal, but he has to just look at the circumstances and give the judgment. Very neutral. Can we blame the judge? Because the judge gave you 10 years of criminal, 10 years of prison imprisonment. Then the judges, sometimes, the, what, these criminals, right? They blame the judge only. You gave me 10 years of sentence. So did the judge gave the 10 years of sentence? Who gave the 10 years of sentence? Externally, it may look like the judge, but internally, it is the whole system that is giving, right? The laws. The judge is simply facilitating. So therefore, he is neutral. He is not telling on his own thoughts. Getting? One should not think in this connection the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no engagement. It doesn't mean that he has no engagement. He's like you know uh, just sitting person. No, he has a whole spiritual world in where he's doing lot of things. In the spiritual world, he's always engaged. In the Brahma Samhita, it said, Atma Ramasya Tasati Prakrite Na Samagamaha. He's always involved in eternal, blissful spiritual activities, but he has nothing to do with these material activities. So, what is Krishna doing in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha planets, in the Golok Vrindavan, in Ayodhya Dham, in Mathura Dham, Dwarka Dham? What is he all doing there? So whatever we hear about Krishna doing in Vrindavan, right, that is continuously taking place here in Golok Vrindavan. Getting? Every day he goes and plays with his friends, tends the cows and the calves, goes on top of the Govardhan hill, he drinks water over there, plays with his friends, runs here and there. Right? That's all we heard in pastimes of Krishna in um Any TV serial or heard of, right? He plays with the gopis, he steals the butter, right? Have you heard all these pastimes of Krishna?
Prabhuji. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
He lifts the Govardhan hill. Hmm? All these things are continuously happening in the spiritual world. In the material world, it happens whenever Krishna comes. He comes as a avatar. Hmm? So, point to mention is that in the spiritual world, lot of things are happening. Just like in the material world, every corner of this material world has something or the other going on, right? Someone is busy with something. In the spiritual world also, Krishna is busy doing a lot of things. Okay, as Narayan, as Vishnu, as Rama, as Krishna, so many activities go on. Material activities are carried by different potencies. The Lord is always neutral in material activities of the created world. This neutrality I've mentioned about is the word Udasinavat. Although he has control over minute details of um, material activity, he is sitting as a neutral. The example can be given of High Court judge sitting on a bench. By his order, so many things are happening. Someone is being hanged, someone is being put into jail, someone is awarded a huge amount of wealth, but still he is neutral. He has nothing to do with all that gain and loss. Similarly, the Lord is always neutral, although he has his hands in every sphere of activity. In the Vedanta Sutra, it is said that he is not situated in the dualities of this material world. He is transcendental to these dualities, nor is he attached to the creation and annihilation of this material world. The living entity takes their different forms in various species of life according to their past deeds, and the Lord does not interfere with them. Okay, so a little bit of technical things here. Another very important verse. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetanunena konteya jagat viprivartate. Maya adhyakshena prakriti. Maya means me. Adhyaksha. Adhyaksha means what? Adhyaksha means superintendent or monitor or principal. So under my direction, Prakriti is moving. Prakriti is this material world. Earth, sun, moon, everything. By my direction it is moving. The material energy, which is one of my energy, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rules, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So the material nature, has its rules and all that, and sorry, under its rule, meaning under Krishna's rule, this manifestation is created again and again. It is clearly stated here that the Supreme Person, although aloof from all activities of the material world, remains the supreme director. There is only one director in the company, right? And he directs under him thousands of employees. Okay, so it's like that. The Supreme Lord is the supreme will and the background of this material manifestation, but the management is conducted by material nature. Material nature is doing all the things in this material world under the direction of Krishna. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that of the living entities in different forms and species, I am the father. The father giving seed to the womb and of the mother of the child, and similarly the Supreme Lord, by his mere glance, injects all the living entities the into the womb of the material nature, and they come out of their different forms and species according to their last desires and activities. All these entities, although born under the glance of the Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to past deeds. So this we discussed. So the Lord is not directly attached to the material creation. He simply glances over the material nature. Material nature is thus activated and everything is created immediately. Because he glances over material nature, there is undoubtedly activity on the part of the Supreme Personal Godhead, but he has nothing to do with the manifestation of the material world directly. This example is given in here in the Smriti. Where there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the same, by the smelling power of the person. Yet that smelling and the flower are detached from one another. What he creates is, in summary, the material nature without the superintendence of the Supreme Lord cannot do anything. Yet the Supreme Lord is detached from all material activities. So things don't work independently. Do automatic doors at the uh, mall and all and other places, do they move independently? Are they independent? They are automatic. Are they independent? Yeah.
Sensors, depending on sensors.
Yeah, depending on sensors, right? And then the whole system, embedded system, is made by coding, right? Software.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
writes the software? Man only writes the software. Okay. So the automatic doors are working under the direction of those who have written that software and build the hardware, right?
Mm.
But small children, they don't understand. They think this is automatic door. They keep playing with it. But adults only know that okay, this automatic door has a controller behind it. Person may not be there, but um, sorry, what I was trying to say is yeah, just like in automatic cars, there is no driver, but we know that it is driven by the software. It is driven by engineers who have worked behind it, right? So it is not exactly autonomous on its own. It is not like that. It's taking the help of others, minimum help. But Krishna is not like that. Okay. He controls everything. Avajananti ma mudam manusham tam ashritah param bhavam ajananto mama bhutva maheshwaram. Fools deride me, mudha. They think I am human. Fools deride me when I descend in this human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme lord of all that be. They don't know Krishna's true nature. We see that Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra, sages were saying he is the supreme lord, he is the supreme, but they were not completely convinced. So when Krishna is seen in public, right? Sorry, and 5,000 years ago, when he was moving among people, that time, not everyone recognized him. Only the few sages, they could recognize that here the Supreme Personality of Godhead is come, and he is come here to establish dharma. Okay. from the other explanations of the previous verse in this chapter, it is clear that the Supreme Personal Godhead, although appearing like a human being, is not a common human being. So he is not a human being. Okay. His body is not like us, made of blood, bones, flesh. Krishna's body is made of Satchidananda, spiritual. It's eternal, full of knowledge. It is blissful. Our is asat. It is not eternal. Sometimes we have to give up this body. Does it have full knowledge? No. We have to learn in schools, colleges, university. And is it joyful? Sometimes it is joyful. When I'm healthy, it is joyful. But when I'm sick, it is very depressive. Right? So Krishna's body is not like us. It is Satchidananda Vigraha. And then fools think that okay, he looks like a human, so he is also human. No. He is Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhe Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. He is Ishvara Parama. He is Supreme Ishvara. Okay, we'll go to the purport and we'll then discuss. Yet there are many foolish men who consider Krishna to be merely a powerful man and nothing more. Actually, he is the original personality of Godhead as confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna, he is Supreme Lord. There are many Ishvara controllers and one appears greater than another. In ordinary management of the affairs in material world, we find some official or director, and above him there is secretary, and above him the minister, and above him the president. Each of them is a controller. Everyone controls. The president controls, the minister controls, right? Secretary controls. Each of them is a controller, but the ultimate one is president. Does anyone get controlled by the president? Does anyone control the president? No. The Brahma Samhita it said Krishna is the supreme control. There are many controllers undoubtedly, both in the spiritual world and material world, but Krishna is the supreme control, Ishvara. His body is Satchidananda, non-material, spiritual body. Material bodies cannot perform the wonderful acts described in previous verses. Achha. Okay, just hold on for a few seconds. I am coming. I will tell you after the meeting. Okay. So his body here is called Manusha. Manushin. Manushin means Manusha. It's like man, like human being. Because he's acting like man, friend of Arjuna, politician, involved in battle of Kurukshetra, so many things. So people think, oh, he's like a historical person, he's an ordinary man. But actually his body is Satchidananda Vigraha, eternal blissful knowledge, absolute. This is confirmed in Vedas. Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya. I offer my obeisances unto Supreme Personal Godhead Shri Krishna, who is eternal blissful form of knowledge. There are other descriptions in Vedic language also. You are Govinda, the pleasure of senses and cow. Satchidananda Vigraham. Your form is transcendent, full of knowledge, bliss and eternity. Despite the transcendental qualities of Krishna's body, its full bliss knowledge, there are so many scholars and commentators of Bhagavad Gita who deride Krishna. So the first president of India, right, Radha Krishnan, he wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And when Krishna says you should surrender to me, he wrote that there is something within Krishna that we have to surrender. So such kind of definitions don't apply to Krishna. Krishna's inside is same, outside is same. There is no difference. It is completely spiritual body. Did you ever see Krishna painted in like an old man. Never. He was always looking young, as young as a 16-year-old boy. At the time of battlefield, he was more than 100 years ago. 100 years old. More than that. But he was still looking young. So why? Because his body is not like us. After 100 years, if we live, how will our body be? Will it be like it is today? No, right? Eyes would have gone down, we would have drooped, we need a stick to walk, right? So our body is like that, but Krishna's body is not like that. And then people think that Krishna is also like that. Okay, so therefore they are called mudas, because they don't have that complete knowledge. Satchinan Vigraha, they don't know. So they are called mudas, foolish people. Only foolish people consider Krishna to be ordinary human being. The foolish consider Krishna as ordinary human being because they do not know the confidential activities of the Supreme Lord and his different energies. They do not know that Krishna is the symbol of complete knowledge and bliss, and that he is the proprietor of everything that to be, and he can award liberation to anybody. Because they do not know that Krishna has so many transcendental qualifications, they deride him. Nor do they know that the appearance of the Supreme Person of Godhead in this material world is a manifestation of his internal energy. Okay. So when Krishna appears on this earth, right, he says, Yada Yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharataha. Every time I keep coming. Is it the same coming as we keep getting bodies? Like here, we keep getting bodies. Sometimes man body, sometimes woman body, sometimes animal body. Is it because of this reason of karma? Because of karma, we are getting new bodies, right? That is accepted, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So when Krishna comes on this earth, is it because of his karma?
No, Prabhu.
Yeah, that is the difference. He comes by his own sweet will to establish dharma. Okay, there is no karma applied to him. As explained in several places, Mama Maya Durattaya. He claims that the material energy, all the very powerful, is under his control, and whoever surrenders onto him can get out of the control of this material nature. If a soul surrendered to Krishna and get out of the influence of material nature, material energy, then how can the Supreme Lord, who conducts the creation, maintenance, annihilation of the whole cosmic manifestation, have a material body like us? So if he is Mukti Data, then how can he have material body? Then he will also need Mukti, right? But if he is Mukti Data, then he doesn't require Mukti, right? So his body is not material. His body is spiritual. So this conception of Krishna is complete foolishness. Okay, that Krishna is having material body. This conception is very foolish. Foolish persons, however, cannot conceive that the personality of God, Sri Krishna, appearing just like an ordinary man, can be the controller of all the atoms and of the gigantic manifestation of the universal form. The biggest and the minutest are beyond their conception, so they cannot imagine that a form like that of the human being can simultaneously control the infinite and the minute. So people find it very difficult to accept, so they may come to wrong conclusions. That is the problem. Actually, although he is controlling the infinite and the finite, he is apart from all these manifestations. It's clearly stated concerning his yogam aishwaryam, his inconceivable transcendent energy, that he can control the infinite and finite simultaneously, that he can remain aloof from them. Although the foolish cannot imagine how Krishna appears just like human being, can control the infinite and finite, those who are pure devotees accept this, for they know that Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. Therefore, they completely surrender unto him and engage in Krishna consciousness, devotional service of the Lord. So basically, those who understand that Krishna is the supreme controller and he is controlling everything, his body is spiritual, his activities are transcendental, they surrender to him in devotional service, in bhakti. There are many controversies between I think this is a very long purport, so I'll try to complete it. There are many controversies between impersonalists and personalists about the Lord's appearance as human being. But if we consult Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the authority text of understanding the science of Krishna, then we can understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is no ordinary man. Although he appeared on the earth as an ordinary human being. In the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, first chapter, when the sages headed by Shaunaka inquired about the activities of Krishna, they said, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personal Godhead, along with Balram, played like human beings, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts, like lifting Govardhan. These are superhuman activity. 7-year-old boy lifting the whole mountain. Have you heard of such thing? We cannot imagine such thing, but Krishna did it. That also in 7 years old, not like he prepared for 100 years to lift the mountain, then he lifted. No, no tapasya, nothing. As a baby, he could kill Putana, all the demons, As a baby, he was killing. Have you heard of any baby killing anybody? We have heard of baby getting killed, but not like baby killing anybody. So Krishna is God, whether he may have a small form or a big form, doesn't matter. Another interesting thing that Srimad Bhagavatam says, when Krishna appeared before his father and mother, Vasudeva and Devaki, he appeared with 4 hands. If anyone gets a child with 4 hands, what will happen? It will become a big news. There will be amputation of other 2 hands. Right? Krishna appeared with 4 hands. But then Vasudev said that you don't be in 4 hands. Otherwise, Kamsa will understand you are Vishnu. So, just to satisfy his father, he turned into 2-handed Krishna. He transformed into ordinary child. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, he just became like an ordinary child. Now here again it is indicated Lord's appearance as an ordinary human being is one of the features of his transcendent body. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that Arjuna prayed to see Krishna's form of 4 handeds, Chaturbhujena. After revealing this form, Krishna, when petitioned by Arjuna, again assumed his original human-like form, Manusham Rupam. These different features of the Supreme Lord are certainly not those of an ordinary human being. Someone can do 4 hands and then can become 2-handed. This is ordinary human being cannot do this all. So here the acharyas are trying to explain to us that Krishna, he may look ordinary, okay, 2-handed form like us only, but actually he is not one of us. He is the Supreme. Among those who deride Krishna and who are infected with the Mayavadi philosophy, quote the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam to prove that Krishna is just an ordinary human being. So there are others who say that no, he's ordinary. See, there's one verse here, 3:29-21. The Supreme is present in every living entity. We should better take a note of this particular verse from the Vaishnava acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, instead of following the interpretation of unauthorized people who deride Krishna. Jiva Goswami commenting on this verse. So this is very technical, okay? When we are talking about Bhagavad Gita, the commentary on Bhagavad Gita are very, very technical. So this is one part of it, They are talking of one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam and trying to connect with this verse. Jiva Goswami commenting on this verse says that Krishna in his plenary expansion at Paramatma is situated in moving and non-moving living entities as super soul. So any neophyte devotee who simply gives attention to Archamurti, the form of the Lord in the temple, and does not respect other living beings is uselessly worshipping the form of the Lord in the temple. Therefore, there are 3 kinds of devotees, and the neophyte is the lowest. Neophyte gives attention to the deity in the temple than to other devotees. So Vishwanath Chakravarti warns of this sort of mentality should be corrected. I'll try to read this first and then we'll get into discussion. A devotee should see that because Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, every body is the embodiment of the temple of the Supreme Lord. So as one So as one offers respect to the temple of the Lord, he should similarly properly respect each and every body in which the Paramatma dwells. Everyone should therefore be given proper respect and should not be neglected. Okay, we'll see this verse first. Aham sarveshu bhuteshu bhutatma avasthiti sada tab ajnanam mam martya yute archa vitamam. I am present in every living entity as a super soul. If one neglects or disregards super soul, everyone engages himself in the worship of the deity. That is simply imitation. So, this particular verse, what it says is that the Supreme Lord is present as Paramatma. Okay. So, the argument is if the Supreme Lord is Paramatma, then he never comes out as an ordinary being. Then Krishna is just an ordinary being because he is not spread everywhere. Like that. The Supreme is present in every living entity. But what this actually verse says is that sometimes some devotees, they are only focused on the deity of the temple. That means they are going inside the temple to pay obeisances to the deity to get prasad and all that. And they disregard super soul everywhere. Meaning the other devotees over there, they don't regard them anything. They disregard them, neglect them. That is the problem. To explain more here. See, all these living entities are there. All these bodies are there. In each body there is Paramatma, right? Now, because if we think that, oh, we are very superior, so we can, disturb the animal kingdom. No. Or disturb the other people, other human beings, because I am rich, I am controller. That kind of mentality, and then thinking that I will go to temple to pay my obeisances to God, that is not congenial attitude. Why? Let's say there's a family, father, mother, they have 5 children. And the eldest one thinks that I am the great guy. And he starts disturbing the younger kids. But to parents, he is very respectful. Is there a problem in his attitude? He is very respectful to his parents, but to his siblings, his brothers and sisters, he is not that respectful. Do you see a problem in this? Or there is no problem? You are getting, na? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Anyone?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
The eldest one is very respectful to the parent, but to his brother and sister he is not respectful. Then it is simply imitation. So devotee may be very appreciative of the deity in the temple. Oh, I am going to Tirupati Balaji. But then to other devotees, he is like not considering them. He is neglecting them, sometimes torturing them. So he doesn't see the super soul in them. He doesn't see the essence of spiritualness in them. That these are also spiritual beings. These are actually my brothers. He doesn't see that. And then he's only focused on the deity, my Tirupati Balaji, like that. So such an attitude is simply imitation. So that's the real understanding of this verse, basically. But the Mayavadis, they say that no, this verse means that the super soul is the final thing. But no, it's not like that. They don't even consider the deity because they say that is imitation. No, the real understanding is the super soul in everyone's heart. If somebody is neglecting that, then going to the deity is only an imitation. Going to deity is waste of time in one sense. So we should be respectful to everybody. Okay? And then when we worship the Supreme Lord in his deity form, then it will be perfect. That is the meaning. Okay, we spent a little bit time over there. One last paragraph and then we'll stop and open up for questions. There are also many impersonalists who deride temple worship. So the point was about this temple worship. Okay, they don't accept that okay, temple is needed, deity is needed. No, see, because this verse says it is limitation only. You are understanding how they argue? This verse says imitation, vidambanam. What archa is vidambanam? Real thing is Paramatma. What actual meaning of this verse is? Every living entity has Paramatma. You respect them and then you do Archa Vigraha. Then it is not imitation. They say that since God is everywhere, one should not restrict himself to temple worship. But if God is everywhere, then is he not in the temple or in the deity? So there are those who deride temple worship. I don't want to go to temple. They will say like that. God is everywhere. I worship him through that. Well, he's everywhere, then he's in the temple also, then in the deity also. So why don't you go there? That's how we can argue with them. Although the personalists and impersonalists fight with one another perpetually, a perfect devotee in Krishna consciousness know that although Krishna is supreme personality, he is all pervading, as confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Although his personal abode is Golok Vrindavan and he's always staying there, by his different manifestation of energy and by his plenary expansion, he is present everywhere in all parts of the material and spiritual creation. So he is situated in one place, but he is spread in everywhere. As Paramatma, he is spread everywhere, though he is situated in one place. Okay. Let's open up for some questions or comments. Any questions or comments? Any question or comment? No? Okay. So those who disregard Krishna as a common human being, what happens to them? Mogasha moga karmano moga jnana vichetsaha rakshisim asurim chaiva prakritim mohinim ashrita. Those who are thus bewildered by are attracted by demonic atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and the culture of knowledge are all defeated. So they won't get liberated. Even all their pious activities will be destroyed. Their knowledge will also be destroyed. So we'll discuss this next week. Any comment? Any question? Okay. So we don't have any question or comment. So we'll stop here.